ये नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीर्वत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवमदि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे सर्वशास्त्र पीयूष सर्ववेदैक सत्फल सर्वसिद्धांत रत्नाढ्य सर्वलोकैक तृप्प्रद सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवत प्रभो ललिद्वान्तोदितादित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तितः कर्मानंद पाठाय प्रेमवर्षक्षराय ते सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय श्रीकृष्णाय नमोस्तुते। मदेकबन्धो मत्सङ्गिन् मद्गुरो मन्महाधन मन्निष्ठारक मद्भाग्य मदानंद नमोस्तुते। असाधु साधुतादायिन् अतिनीचोच्चतारक आणमुञ्च कदाचिन्मां प्रेम्णा हृत्कण्ठयो स्फुर। Here in the first anuccheda, third part, Paramātmā is the primary Kṣetrajña of everyone. So when Krishna is speaking about the knowledge of Kshetra and the two types of Kṣetrajña, the purpose of even speaking about the knowledge of all these three is to ultimately to speak about Bhagavan only. Out of all the three, Kshetra and the two types of Kṣetrajña, the primary thing is Paramātmā only. Because Jivatma and the Kshetra, both are energies of Paramātmā only. Therefore, the primary subject matter is Paramātmā. So, Jivatma is dependent on Paramātmā to know. And the Prakriti is dependent on the Paramātmā. Then only when it receives the glance of the Lord, the Prakriti gets activated. Therefore, both Jivatma and Prakriti are dependent on the Paramatma. Therefore, Paramatma is the primary Kṣetrajña. Therefore, even the Mahabharata Shanti Parva, the verse says that Harireva hi Kṣetrajño nirmamo nishkalastata. Only Hari is the Kṣetrajña. So after establishing that Paramatma as the root or the primary Kṣetrajña, Sri Jiva Goswami denotes the rest of the section to the presentation of supporting statements from various sources, declaring that Paramatma is the same as the Purusha expansion of Bhagavan for the sake of material creation. he also mentions that Paramatma has a different forms, such as Pradyumna and Sankarshana. Vishnu is also one of the names of Paramatma. So this last section where Jiva Goswami gives various quotations, so that we'll see today. So in the Narada Pancharatra.
Sorry, Prabhuji, to interrupt, but in the last lecture you had said this. Supposing if when we say Krishna had intended to say the same thing, like Jivatma is one with himself, that is Advaitvadi's thing, then he would have not mentioned Kṣetrajña Chapi Mam Vidhi. Instead of that, he would have said Mam Vidhi. Then you had quoted that, what is it? Mam Vidhi ita etavadeva va prochet. Is it right what I'm saying?
Yeah, Krishna would not have mentioned Sarva Kshetreshu.
Huh. You had mentioned this ita etavadeva va prochet. Is this what you had mentioned also?
Ityetavadeva tatapi tena samanadikaranyam yadi vivakshitam syat. If Krishna had intended to say the absolute equality of Jivatma and Paramatma, then Krishna would have only mentioned Kshetrajñam Chapimam Vidhi. Ityetavadeva.
Yeah, this is the word.
Tam cha mam vidhi ityetavadev va procheta na tu sarvakshetreshu bharata ityadikam api. You would not have mentioned Kshetrajñam Chapimam Vidhi Sarvakshetreshu bharata. The fact that Krishna is also mentioning Sarvakshetreshu bharata. Then instead of saying that know me also to be the knower situated and within all the fields, he would have simply said that know me to be the Kshetrajña, also of same precise nature. Know me to be the Kshetrajña, is same as like the Jivatma.
Prabhuji,
you would not additionally use the word Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata.
Yeah, so I'm trying to understand this, it's clear, but this word, this Mam Vidhi Eta Etavadeva Vaprochet, where is this written? Where is this written, which you have quoted? This word.
In the Sanskrit?
Yeah. This I wanted to know, the Sanskrit one.
See here. Here. Ityetavadeva. Second line. Tatapi tena samanadikaranyam yadi vivakshitam syat tarhi kshetrajñam chapimam vidhi ityetavadeva tamcha mam vidhi ityetavadeva va procheta na tu sarvakshetreshu bharata iti adhikam api. This is the word. Got it? 8th page.
Yes. So this I wanted to know. Yeah, thank you so much.
So now he's going to quote different verses from various scriptures. So in the Narada Pancharatra, Narada Muni is asking a question. And repeat after me. Tata Shri Narada Pancharatre Shri Narada Uvacha. Shuddha Sargamaham Deva.
Shuddha Sargamaham Deva.
Jnatumichami Tatvatah.
Jnatumichami Tatvatah.
Sargadvayasya Chaivasya.
Sargadvayasya Chaivasya.
Yaparatvena Vartate.
Yaparatvena Vartate.
O Deva, Ichchami, I wish to know. Tatvatah, I wish to know in truth. Shuddha Sargam, the pure creation. And also Sargadvayasya, and of the two types of creation. and paratvena, yaha paratvena vartate, and of the one person who exists beyond these two types of creation. This is Narada Muni's question. And then the answer. तत्र तत्रैतत् पूर्वोक्तः प्रादानिकः शाक्तश्चेत्येतत् सर्गद्वयस्य इति ज्ञेयम्. So the two types of creation are those of pradana. Pradanika means one creation is related to pradana, the unmanifest primordial nature, and shaktascha, and another of shakti, the extrinsic potency of maya, which were purvoktaha, which were described prior to this verse. You can repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
श्री भगवान् उवाच
यः सर्वव्यापको देवः
यः सर्वव्यापको देवः
परब्रह्म च शाश्वतम्
परब्रह्म च शाश्वतम्
चित्सामान्यं जगत्यस्मिन्
चित्सामान्यं जगत्यस्मिन्
परमानन्दलक्षणम्
परमानन्दरक्षणम्
वासुदेवादभिन्नस्तु
वासुदेवाभिन्नस्तु
वक्न्यर्खेन्दुशतप्रभम्
वह्यन्क्रेन दुष्टप्रभम्
वासुदेवोऽपि भगवान्
वासुदेवोऽपि भगवान्
तद्धर्मा परमेश्वरः
सद्धर्मा परमेश्वरः
स्वां दीप्तिं क्षोभयत्येव
स्वां दीप्तिं शोभयत्वेव
तेजसा तेन वैयुतम्
तेजसा तेन वैयुतं
प्रकाशरूपो भगवान्
प्रकाशरूपो भगवान्
अच्युतं चासृजद्विज.
अच्युतं चासृजद्विज.
I'll read the other shlokas.
यस
सोच्युतोच्युत तेजाश्च स्वरूपं वितनोति वै आश्रित्य वासुदेवं च स्वस्थो मेघो जलं यथा.
सोच्ययुतोच्युत तेजांश स्वरूपं वितनोति वै आश्रित्य वासुदेवं च स्वस्थो मेघो जलं यथा.
Recording is okay. Recording is going on. शोभयित्वा स्वमात्मानं सत्यभास्वरविग्रहम् उत्पादयामास तदा समुद्रोर्मिजलं यथा सचिन्मयप्रकाशात्मा उत्पाद्यात्मानमात्मना पुरुषाख्यमनन्तं च प्रकाशप्रसरं महत् स च वै सर्वजीवानामाश्रयः परमेश्वरः अन्तर्यामी च तेषां वै तारकाणामिवाम्बरम् सेन्दणपावको यद्वत् स्फुलिङ्गनिचयं द्विज अनिच्छात प्रेरयति तद्वदेष परप्रभुः प्राग्वासना निबन्धानां बन्धानां च विमुक्तये तस्माद्विद्धि तदंशांस्तान् सर्वांशं तमजं प्रभुम्. See, read the translation. So Bhagavan replied, O Dvija, Sarvavyapaka, the all-pervading Deva is the Parabrahma, Supreme Brahman. Shashvatam, the eternal. Chit Samanyam Jagatyasmin, the universal consciousness of this world. And Paramananda Lakshanam, who is of the nature of transcendental bliss. Vasudevad Abhinnaha, non-different from Vasudeva.
अपन बोले
And
थे
the,
बाहर खा लेना, कहीं बाहर तो नहीं खा रही है? सॉरी प्रभु.
no. Vasudeva the Abhinnaha, non-different from Vasudeva. And Vakshni Arkendu Shataprabham, as effulgent as hundreds of fires or hundreds of sun and moon. Vakshni means a fire, Arka is the sun, Hindu is the moon. Shata is 100. That Vasudeva is as effulgent as hundreds of suns, moons and fires. Vasudevopi Bhagavam Tad Dharma Parameshwara. Although Bhagavan Vasudeva api Bhagavan api, although he is the supreme controller, being intrinsically endowed with such qualities, but he caused a movement in his own radiance through his own potency. Swam Deeptim Shobhayati. Shobhayati means agitated or more. He caused a movement. Shobhayati eva Tena Tejasa Vayutam. He caused a movement in his own radiance through his own potency. Prakasha Rupo, being the personification of light, Bhagavan Achyutam cha Asrijadduja. The Bhagavan emitted Achyuta. Achyutam Asrijad. He emitted Achyuta, who is endowed with the same radiance. Saha Achyuto, Sochuto, Achyuta Tejascha Swarupam Vitanoti Vai. Sochuto Achyuta Tejascha, taking shelter of the Bhagavan Vasudeva, the Achyuta who has infallible splendor, Achyuta Teja, expanded his own form, Swarupam Vitanoti. Just as a cloud situated in the sky sends forth rain. Ashritya Vasudevam cha Swasto Mego Jalam Yata. And then Shobhayitva Swamatmanam Satya Bhaswara Vigraha. As the ocean agitates itself and produces waves, he incited his own self and thus produced a form that was true and radiant. Satya Bhaswara Vigraham. Utpadayamasa. Tada Samudrormi Jalam Yata. Samudrormi Jalam Yata. As the ocean agitates itself and produces waves, he incited his own self and thus produced a form that was true and radiant. Sa Chinmaya Prakashatma Utpadyatmanam Atmana. The Bhagavan who is pure consciousness, Prakashatman, self-luminous, Utpadya, after generating his own self, Atmanam Atmana, after generating his own self by himself, Purushakyam Anantam cha Prakasha Prasaram Mahat. He caused an unlimited form to become manifest, called Purusha, Purushakyam Anantam cha Prakasha, who is the nature of all pervasive light, Prakasha Prasaram Mahat. So far what is spoken is that the Bhagavan is replying, the all-pervading, the Supreme Brahman, who is non-different from Vasudeva, he is endowed with intrinsic qualities, intrinsically endowed with many spiritual qualities. And that Vasudeva caused a movement in his own radiance through his own potency. And from that Vasudeva emitted, or he expanded as Achyuta, who is endowed with the same radiance. And taking shelter of that Vasudeva, Achyuta who has infallible splendor, expanded his form. Expanded his form. He incited his own self and thus produced a form that was true and radiant. And this Bhagavan caused an unlimited form to become manifest, that is called Purusha. Such a way, so this supreme, such a way, Sarvajivanam Ashraya Parameshwara, this supreme regulator or this Purusha is the shelter of all living beings. He is the Antaryami, he is the indweller, like the sky to the stars. Tarakanam Ivambaram. Sendana Pavako Yadvat. Spulinga Nichayam Dvija. Just as fire laden with tinder sends off many sparks unintentionally, similarly, this transcendental Bhagavan sends forth or emits the living beings. Anicchata prereti tadvadesha paraprabhu. Sends forth the living beings or emits the living beings who are bound by their previous desires so that they can become liberated. Pragvasana nibandhanam bandhanam cha vimukte. Tasmat vidhi tadamshastan sarvamsham tamajam prabhu. Thus know all these living beings as integrated parts of Bhagavan and him, the unborn Bhagavan, as the all-encompassing whole. Tasmad vidhi tadamsha. So know all these living beings as integrated parts of Tat Amsham Tan Sarvamsham, Bhagavan and him, the Purusha, as the all-encompassing whole. Sarvamsham Tamajam Prabhu. So basically, what is the purpose of quoting this Narada Pancharatra? So Jiva Goswami is giving references from other Shastras to prove that how Paramātmā is the primary Kṣetrajña. He quoted in this part of the anuccheda, he explained the same Gita verse. Idam shariram kaunteya kshetram yityabhidiyate kshetrajñam kshetram yityabhidiyate etad yoveti tam prahu kshetrajña iti tadvidah. And the next shloka. And also he quoted Purusha Prakriti Stohi Bhukte Prakriti Janmuna. And the concluding shlokas of this particular section, which also talks about two Kṣetrajñas, Jivatma and Paramātmā. So now he is giving quotations from the Narada Pancharatra. And then further he says, Atayeva yattu brahmadau Shri Pradyumnasya manvadau Shri Vishnoho yat rudradau Shri Sankarshanasya antaryamitvam shruyate tan nanamsha madaya avatirnasya tatanamsham adaya avatirnasya tasyaiva tattadamshena tattad antaryamitvam iti mantavyam tan nanamsham adaya avatirnasya tasyaiva tattadamshena tad antaryamitvam iti mantavyam. Therefore, when it is said that Pradyumna is the super soul of Brahma, Vishnu is the super soul of Manu, Sankarshana is the super soul of the Rudra, it is to be understood that Bhagavan Krishna alone, having manifested along with his various parts, becomes the root indweller, becomes the Paramātmā of these diverse beings through these partial manifestations. Tan nanamsham adaya avatirnasya tasyaiva tatadamshena tad antaryamitvam iti mantavyam. So atayeva rudrasya Shri Sankarshana Prakrtitvam Purusha Prakrititvam Chet Ubayam Amnatam. Therefore, Rudra is said to have his source both in Sankarshana for the play of cosmic dissolution and as well as the Purusha for the play of cosmic creation. Sankarshana Prakrititvam, Purusha Prakrititvam Chet Ubayam Amnatam. Where they are mentioned, one in the 5th canto, another in the 11th canto. Prakritimatmana Sankarshana Sanyam Bhava Upadavati. The 5th canto, 17th chapter, 16th shloka, it is mentioned, Sri Shiva worships his own source, who is known as Sri Sankarshana. So this verse is from the prayers offered. The Jambu Dvipa, there are 9 tracts of land. The central part of the land is called as the Ilavrita Varsha. The Ilavrita Varsha, there is only one male, that is Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva is served by billions of females. But that Lord Shiva is absorbed in the worship of Sankarshana. Lord Shiva worships his own source, who is known as Sri Sankarshana. And then in the 11th canto, it is said, Adav abhuchata dhritihi ityadaucha. And also that primeval Purusha united with the Rajas appeared in the beginning as Brahma for the creation of this universe, and united with Tamas, he appeared as Rudra for its destruction. This is also explained in the Vishnu Purana. So we see the 5th canto shloka describes that how Lord Shiva worships his source Sankarshana. And the 11.4.5, where the Gunavataras are explained, the source of Lord Shiva is described as the Purusha. And this is also confirmed in the Vishnu Purana. Can repeat after me. Bhutatma Chendriyatma Cha.
Bhutatma Chendriyatma Cha
Pradhanatma Tatha Bhavan.
Pradhanatma Tatha Bhavan
Atma Cha Paramatma Cha.
Atma Cha Paramatma Cha
Tvameka Panchadhastitah.
Tvameka Panchadha Stitha.
The 5 words are there. Bhutatma, Indriyatma, Pradhanatma, Atma and Paramatma. Tvam Eka, although you are one, you are situated in 5 ways. As Bhutatma, the self of all the Bhutas, gross material elements. Indriyatma, you are situated as the Indriyatma, the self of the senses. And Pradhanatma, the self of the unmanifest Pradhana, primordial nature. And as Atma, the Jivatma, and as Paramatma. And as Paramatma. Although you are one, but you are situated as the Bhutatma, Indriyatma, Pradhanatma, Atma and Paramatma. Ityadau Vibhritaha. Tasmat Sarvantaryami Purusha Yeva. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Ityadau Paramatmatvena Nirdishta iti Sthitam. Therefore, it is concluded that the Purusha alone is the immanent indweller of all beings, who is referred to as the Paramatma in the Bhagavatam verse. Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yadgyanam advayam brahmeti Paramātmeti. All those who realize absolute truth describe the reality as non-dual consciousness, and this non-dual reality is referred to as Brahman, Paramātmā, and Bhagavan. So, Vyakyatam cha Swamibihi, Sridhar Swami has given a similar explanation while commenting on the prayers offered by Varuna to Lord Krishna. You know that Nanda Maharaj was arrested by the soldiers of Varuna. He was taken to Varuna Loka. In order to get back, Nanda Maharaj, Krishna goes to Varuna Loka, and there Varuna Dev, on seeing Krishna, he offers prayers. So that verse is quoted. Namastubhyam Bhagavate Brahmane Paramatmane 10.28.6 Ityatra Varunastutau Paramatmane Sarvajiva Nyantrech iti. So Sridhar Swami says that in the shloka the word Paramatma means the regulator of all living beings. And then further, Asya Paramatmano Mayopaditaya Purushatvam tu Purushattam tu Upacharitameva. When it is said that Paramatma appears as the Purusha due to the limiting adjunct of Maya, it is in the figurative sense only, Upacharitameva. Because Paramatma is always transcendentally situated. He doesn't accept a material body like us. So when it says the Paramatma appears as the Purusha due to the Upadhi of Maya, it is in the figurative sense only. Upacharitameva. Taduktam Vaishnave Eva. Again he quotes the Vishnu Purana. You can repeat after me. Nantosti yasya na cha.
Nantosi yasya na cha na nasya
Yasya samudbha Nantosi yasya na cha yasya samudbhavosti Vriddirna yasya Vriddirna yasya parinama vivarjitasya.
बुद्धिर्न यस्य परिणाम विवर्जितस्य
नापक्षयं च समुपैत्य विकल्पवस्तु
नापक्षयं च समुपैत्य विकल्पवस्तु
यस्तं नतोस्मि पुरुषोत्तम माध्यमीड्यम्
यस्तं नतोस्मि पुरुषोत्तमं
माध्यमीड्यम्
माध्यमीड्यम्
तस्यैव योनु गुणभुक् बहुदैक एव
तस्यैव योनु गुणभुक् बहुदैक एव
शुद्धोप्यशुद्ध इव मूर्ति विभाग भेदैः
शुद्धोप्यशुद्ध इव मूर्ति विभाग भेदैः
ज्ञानान्वित सकल सत्व विभूतिकर्ता
ज्ञानान्वितः सकल सत्व विभूतिकर्ता
तस्मै नतोस्मि पुरुषाय सदाव्ययाय
तस्मै नतोस्मि पुरुषाय सदाव्ययाय.
So he's quoting the Vishnu Purana. Natosmi, I bow down. I bow down to the yasya samudbhavosti vriddhihi na yasya. I bow down to the Purushaya, the primeval, worshipable supreme person, the Purushottama. The primeval, worshipable supreme person, Purushottama, who has no end, Nantosti, and who has no origin. Yasya samudbhava asti na. And was no increase. Vriddhihi na. Yasya parinamam vivarjitasya. And no modification and no decrease. Napakshayam. And no byproducts. And I always bow down to the imperishable Purusha. Natosmi Purushottamam Adya medium. Yeah. Purushaya Sadavyaya. I always go into the imperishable Purusha who proceeds from and partakes of the same virtues as the Purushottama. Tasyaiva Yonu Gunabhu Bahudaika Eva. So who proceeds from and partakes of the same virtues as the Purushottama, who though one alone manifests as many, Gunabhuk Bahudayek, and who though pure, Shuddha, Ashuddha Iva, appears as if impure, due to differences arising from divisions of form, Murti Vibhaga Bedai, and who is endowed with knowledge, Jnananvitaha, and Sakala Sattva Bhuti Karta, and the creator of the powers of all created beings. So he is again quoting from Vishnu Purana for the evidence of Purusha, the Paramātmā. And then again, Sridhar Swami's commentary. Atra tasyaiva anupurvoktat parameshwarat samanantaram bahuda brahmadi rupena. Ashuddha iva srishtiyadish asakta iva Murti Vibhaganam Dakshadi Manvadi Rupanam Bedaihi Sarvasattvanam Vibhuti Karta Vistarakrit iti Swami Pada. So Tasyaiva Anu here means subsequent to the aforementioned Supreme Person. The Purushottam spoken of in the previous verse. Tasyaiva Anu. That is the 27th shloka. So manifests as many, that means he appears in the forms of Brahma and so on. And as if impure means as if attached to the work of creation. And due to the differences arising from divisions of form, refers to the forms of Daksha, Manu and so on. And creator of the powers of all created beings, Sarva Sattvanam Vibhuti Karta, Vistaraka. That means he disperses the living beings throughout the creation. And then there is further Tatra Gunabhug iti Shadgunyananda Bhokte Tyartaha. To Sridhar Swami's comment, it should be added that the word Gunabhuk, who partakes of the same virtues, means that he is a relisher of the bliss of the six intrinsic qualities. Gunabhuk here means that he enjoys the six internal opulences. Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashasaha Shriyaha, Jnana Vairagyayachaiva Shannam Bhaga Itingana. And then he quotes a verse from Mahabharata. From Narayaniya Upakhyana of the Moksha Dharma. The Narayaniya is an important section in the Mahabharata where the glories of Lord Narayana, Lord Krishna are directly mentioned. So you can recite this shloka. Yattat Sukshma Vijnanam
Yattat Sukshma Vijnanam
Avyaktam Dhruvam
Avyaktam Achalam Dhruvam
Indriyairindriyartaischa
इन्द्रियैरिन्द्रियार्थैश्च
सर्वभूतैश्च वर्जितम्
सर्वभूतैश्च वर्जितम्
सह्यन्तरात्मा भूतानां
सह्यन्तरात्मा भूतानां
क्षेत्रज्ञश्चेति कथ्यते
क्षेत्रज्ञश्चेति कथ्यते
त्रिगुणव्यतिरिक्तो वै
त्रिगुणव्यतिरिक्तो वै
पुरुषश्चेति कल्पितः
पुरुषश्चेति कल्पितः
इति मोक्षधर्मे अपि नारायणीयोपाख्याने. In the Narayaniya Upakyana, there's a section in the Mahabharata. So, Bhishma Dev is, this is on the Anushasana Parva, where Bhishma Dev instructed Yudhishthira Maharaj and various dharmas. One of the dharma, or the most important dharma, is the Moksha Dharma. Within the Moksha Dharma, there is a section called as Narayaniya Upakyana, the glories of Lord Narayan. So, that Brahman, which is subtle, Sukshmam, Avijnanam, and thus imperceptible, Avyaktam, unmanifest, Achalam, immovable, Dhruvam, unchanging, Indriyair, Indriyartaischa, Sarvabhutaischa Varjitam. And without any connection to the Indriya and Indriyartha, without any connection to the senses and sense objects and all created beings, is verily him. Sahi Antaratma, verily him, the interior self of all living beings, the Paramātmā. Bhutanam Kṣetrajñascha iti katyate, and is called as the witness of the field. And Triguna Vyatirikto, he is beyond the three gunas of nature, and is also known as the Purusha. Purushascha iti kalpitaha. So he has quoted, so far he has quoted from the latest quote is from Mahabharata. The previous quote is from Vishnu Purana. For what he is quoting all these quotations, to explain how the Purusha or the Paramātmā is described in so many verses in Vishnu Purana, Mahabharata. Before that, he quoted from the Varuna's prayer to Krishna. And before that, he quoted again from Vishnu Purana. In Vishnu Purana, the one absolute truth manifests as Bhutatma, Indriyatma, Pradhanatma, Atma, and Paramātmā. And before that also he quoted from the Narada Pancharatmas. So this last section. So Shrutayo api yenam shuddhatvenaiva varnayanti. The Shrutis also describe him as pure. So Paramatma is described as pure even by the Shrutis. Now he is quoting from the Shvetasvatara Upanishad. Eko devo sarvabhuteshu gudha sarvavyapi. Okay, you can repeat after me. Eko devo sarvabhuteshu gudha
एको देवो सर्वभूतेषु गूढः
sarvavyapi sarvabhutantaratma
सर्वव्यापी सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा
कर्माध्यक्षः सर्वभूतादिवासः
कर्माध्यक्षः सर्वभूतादिवासः
साक्षी चेता केवलो निर्गुणश्च
साक्षी चेतः केवलो निर्गुणश्च
अजामेकां लोहितशुक्लकृष्णाम्
अजामेकां लोहितशुक्लकृष्णाम्
बह्वी प्रजा सृजमाणां सरूपाः
बृहि प्रजा सृजमाणां सरूपाः
अजोह्येको जुषमाणोऽनुषेते
अजो है को जुषमाणो नुषेते
जहात्येनाम भुक्त भोगामजोन्यः.
जहाँ तेना भुक्त भोगामजोन्यः.
So the Shrutis also describe him as pure. Eko Deva, there's only one Deva. Sarva Bhuteshu Gudaha, who is hidden within all beings. Sarva Vyapi, he is all pervading. Sarva Bhutantaratma, he is immanent self, Paramātmā of all beings. Karmadyaksha, he is the overseer of all actions. Sarva Bhutadi Vasaha, is the abode of all beings. Sakshi, Cheta, Kevalo, Nirgunascha, is the witness. Cheta, conscious, pure and untouched by the material gunas. Ajamekam Lohita Shukla Krishna. The Lohita Shukla Krishna means red, white and black. There is a she goat. There is a red, white and black she goat. It is referring to Maya. Because Maya has three gunas. Na? So Maya is compared to the Aja, the goat. It has three colors, red, white and black. Bhakvi Praja Srijamanam Sarupa. That produces offspring of all of the same nature as herself. Ajo Kyeko Jushamano Nushete Jahatyenam Bhukta Bhogam Ajonyah. So there is one ram. There is one ram. Ram refers to, I think, the male goat, I think. Aja refers to female goat. Aja refers to, see, Aja refers to female goat. Aja refers to male goat. Aja is basically pulling upon. So Ajo Hyeko, because of Sandhi rule, Ajo, Ajaha has become Ajo. So there is one male goat. Male goat refers to the Jivatma. Just like male goat wants to enjoy the female goat, the conditioned Jivatma, who is compared to a male goat, wants to enjoy the Prakriti, which has the three modes. So there is one ram, that is the male goat, who is captivated and enjoys her. Yushamano nushete jahatyenam bhukta bhogam ajonyah. But there is another ram, anyah. There is another ram, that means there is another Paramātmā who is there in the same body, abandons the she goat. Jahati, yenam jahati. So one goat is Jushamano Anushete. The Jivatma is trying to enjoy the matter, but the Paramātmā is aloof, abandoned the she goat, considering her as already enjoyed. Bhukta Bhogam Ajonyah. Ityadyaha Tasmat Sadhu Vyakyatam Kṣetrajña Yetaha Ityadi Padyadvayam Shri Brahmano Rahuganam. Therefore, the explanation given for the two verses has been shown to be appropriate. So we see that the first anuccheda, essentially the main verse is the verse spoken by Jadabharat to Rahugana. That 5.11, 11.12 and 30. The first verse speaks about the Jivatma, second verse speaks about the Paramātmā. He explained that. And then he explained how the same thing is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Again from the 13th chapter. So he quoted how what is spoken in the Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter is also confirmed in the 15th chapter, the three Purushottam Yoga. Uttama Purushastvanya Paramātmī Tyudakritaha Yolokatrayamavishya Vibhartyavyayam Ishwaram. So, and then this the third section of this first anuccheda, he also confirmed that Paramātmā is the primary Kṣetrajña. And then he quoted various shlokas from Narada Pancharatra, Vishnu Purana, Varuna's prayers to Krishna, and the Shvetaswatra Upanishad, and the Moksha Dharma section of the Mahabharata. So this is the first anuccheda ends. We will also start the second anuccheda. If there are any questions, we can ask. If there's anything not understandable. First anuccheda is little long. Other anucchedas, and this next other anuccheda is going to be shown.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, that example given of that Purusha Prakriti Stohi. So here, in what context does it denote, explains that? That I want to know. Because in Bhagavad Gita, it explains that living entity takes birth with different types of body, 2 eyes, 2 nose, like different species. So here, why it is said about that, reference given about that?
Yes, that reference, how it is given is that, see the 13th chapter beginning, Krishna speaks about 2 Kṣetrajña. Idam shariram kaunteya kshetram yatyabhidiyate yetad yovetti tamprahu kshetrajña iti tadvidah. The second shloka. One who knows this body is the kshetra, one who knows the body is called the kshetrajña. The next shloka, he speaks about the another kshetrajña, who is the Paramātmā. Kṣetrajñam chapimam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharat. Who is the knower of all the bodies. Because the Advaita tradition, they say that both the Kṣetrajñas are one only. Jivatma and Paramātmā are ultimately one only. So then, Jiva Goswami says that the concluding, at the end of this section, the 13th chapter, the section ends in the 13.21-22. So generally, what is spoken in the beginning, that will tally with what is spoken in the end. At the end also, Krishna speaks about the 2 Kṣetrajña, Atma and Paramātmā. He speaks about the Atma in the shloka, Purusha Prakritistohi Bhungte Prakritijan Gunan, Karanam Gunasangasya Sadasatyoni Janmashu. So the Purusha Prakritistohi, the living entity being situated within Prakriti, Bhungte Prakritijan Gunan. He tries to enjoy the different products of the Prakriti. And he takes birth in Sad Asad Yoni Janmasu. Sometimes he takes birth as a Devata body, sometimes he takes birth in an inferior body, as an animal body. So in this shloka, he speaks about the Jivatma. The next shloka is about the Paramātmā. Upadrashta Anumantacha Bharta Bhokta Parameshvara Maheshvara Paramatmeti Chapyukto Dehesvin Purushapara. Next shloka is about the Paramātmā. So therefore we see the beginning of this chapter, beginning of the section in the chapter, and the end of the section. In both places, Krishna has spoken about 2 Kṣetrajñas, Atma and Paramātmā. That is what Jiva Goswami, therefore he quoted that.
Yes, Prabhu, understood. Yes, okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
And that is why, of course, he referenced another Brahma Sutra, that you have to read the commentary. Last time we went through that. But the idea is that usually beginning and end will convey the same message. A person, what he begins, he will end with the same message. Bhagavad Gita begins with Ashocyan Anvashochastvam. Why are you lamenting for that which is not worthy to lament? And Bhagavad Gita ends with Ma Shuchaha. Do not lament. Therefore, the theme of Bhagavad Gita is that don't lament.
Yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhuji, this that Vishnu Purana and that previous paragraph, that the Lord expands in 5 ways, that's situated in 5 ways, Bhutatma, Indriyatma. This Indriyatma and the that master of senses, Rishikesha, which Krishna is called there in the Bhagavad Gita, both are same? Or this is Paramātmā is referred here?
Yeah, the sense Indriyatma, Krishna only gives energy to the senses. The self of the senses, Indriyatma, Bhutatma, the self, Atma of the gross material elements. Indriyatma, the self of the senses. Yeah, Krishna is the master of the senses, like what you said, Rishikesha. Therefore, the senses are supposed to be engaged in the service of Krishna. He is Rishikesha.
Okay.
He is the master of the senses. So,
So as a Rishikesha, he is worshipped. Right?
yes.
Okay.
So, for the ideal use of the senses is to engage in the service of the master of the senses, Rishikesh. Although you are one, but you are situated in as Bhutatma, Indriyatma, Pradhanatma, Atma, and Paramatma. So all these quotations are further substantiating the fact about the Paramatma. The second Kṣetrajña. Why he is going into so many detail? Because there are two Kṣetrajñas are there, Jivatma and Paramatma. And they remain distinct. It's not that both become one. Two Kṣetrajñas are distinct Kṣetrajñas are there. Therefore, all these discussions are mentioned, but in great detail. And this Paramatma, the second Kṣetrajña, manifests in three forms. That is the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. Those three manifestations of Paramatma, that is the subject of the next section, Anuccheda 2 to Anuccheda 7. The first Anuccheda proved that there are two Kṣetrajña, Jivatma and Paramatma. And the Paramatma is the primary Kṣetrajña. Paramatma is the primary Kṣetrajña. And there are three manifestations of Paramatma. That is the topic of the next 6 Anuchedas, starting from Anucheda 2. So we'll begin this. Land in the 10 minutes I'll end. Ata tasya avirbhave yogyata pragvat bhaktireva jnaya. As before, as in the case of Bhagavan, the prerequisite for his manifestation, the prerequisite for, that means Paramatma's manifestation, should be understood as Bhakti alone. The prerequisite for Paramatma's manifestation should be understood as Bhakti alone. So this will be explained more completely in Anucheda 101. I mean, like towards the end of the Paramatma Sandarbha. Avirbhavastu Trida. The manifestation is threefold. Yata Naradiya Tantre. Very famous shloka called as Naradiya Tantra, also Satvata Tantra. So you can repeat after me. Vishnostu Trini Rupani.
Vishnostu Trini Rupani
Purushakyanyatho Viduhu.
Pushyakhyane Yatho Viduhu
Pratamam Makatasrashtru.
Prathama Mahatha Shrishtu
Dvitiyam Tantu Sansthitam.
Dutiyam Tantu Samsthitam
Tritiyam Sarvabhutastham.
Tritiyam Sarvabhutastam
Tani Jnatva Vimuchyate.
Tani Gyatva Vimuchyate.
So Bhagavan Vishnu has three forms, Trini Rupani. Prabhupada quotes this in the, I think, 3rd chapter Bhagavad Gita purport, I think. Bhagavan Vishnu has three forms. Each are called the Purusha. Purushakyan Ato Viduhu. Pratamam Mahatah Srashtru. The first Maha is Mahavishnu, is he who sets in motion the total Mahatattva. Dvitiyam Tantu Sansthitam. The second is the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who is situated within each egg-like universe. Tantu Sansthitam. Tritiyam Sarvabhutastam. The third, the Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who is immanent within the heart of every living being. And Tani Jnatva Vimuchyate, one who knows these three Vishnus is liberated from the conditional existence. So according to Laghu Bhagavatamrita, the source of these verses is Satvata Tantra. So then he explains the first Vishnu, Tatra Pratamaha. So Pratama is Mahavishnu or Karanodakshaya Vishnu. Further he quotes the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Tatra Pratamaha. And see the amount of the first anuccheda itself, there are 75 footnotes. Okay. The Tatra Pratamaha Yatagnehe Shudra Vispulinga Vicharanti Evam Evasmat Atmana Sarve Prana Sarve Loka Sarve Deva Sarvani Bhutani Vicharanti. This is the shloka from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So, of these, the first is only one in number. Of these, the Mahavishnu is there is only one Mahavishnu. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is many because for each universe there is a Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And Kshirodakshaya Vishnu is even more because for each Jivatma within each universe there is a Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. But Mahavishnu is only one. So he is the witness of the total aggregate of all jivas. So Yatagne Shudra Vispulinga Vicharanti Sa Aikshata Ityadyukto Maha Samashti Jiva Prakrityor Ekata Pannayor Drashtet Yeka Eva. So he is the witness of the total aggregate of all the jivas. Maha Samashti Jiva Prakriti and primordial nature. When they are in an undifferentiated state. Maha Samashti Jiva Prakrityor Ekata Pannayor Drashta it Eka Eva. Mahavishnu is the witness of the aggregate, total aggregate of all the jivas, and is the witness of the Prakriti, primordial nature, when they are in an undifferentiated state. As described in statements such as Yatagne Kshudra Vispulinga Vicharanti, just as sparks emanate from a fire, so all these vital airs, planets, devas, and living beings issue forth from the Supreme Self. And Sa Aikshata, he glanced, that means projected all living beings and all that exists. Ayameva Sankarshana iti Mahavishnu Riticha. He is also known as Sankarshana and Mahavishnu as found in the Brahma Samhita. And then he is quoting the Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhitayam yata Tallingam Bhagavan Shambhur Jyoti Rupam Sanatanam. Tasminnevavi. So the Brahma Samhita first quotation is that the effulgent eternal Bhagavan Shambhu, that is the Lord of Mahanarayana, the Lord of Vaikuntha, is his causal agent. Is his Krishna's causal agent. in the matter of generating the world. He is also known as Sankarshana and Mahavishnu as found in the Brahma Samhita. The effulgent eternal Bhagavan Shambhu, that is Vasudeva or Mahanarayana, the Lord of Vaikuntha, is his Krishna's causal agent in the matter of generating this world. And another quotation from Brahma Samhita. Tasmin Navirabul Linge Mahavishnur Jagatpatihi. And then again, Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha, Brahma Samhita, Ityarabhya. And Mahavishnu, the Lord of the cosmos, appeared from that causal agency. So Mahavishnu appeared from that causal agency, that is Shambhu. Then further on in the Brahma Samhita, the section beginning with the Purusha having 1,000 heads, 1,000 eyes and 1,000 legs. It is stated there. So that section we will see in the next class. So we'll continue this. All right. Any questions? The second anuccheda describes the first Purusha, Mahavishnu. Third anuccheda describes the second Purusha, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Fourth anuccheda describes the Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. And then fifth, sixth, and seventh anuccheda describe about the oneness of the many Purushas, oneness of the Paramātmā in multiplicity.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, sir.
This Garbhodakashai Vishnu and the other Vishnus, is it mentioned in Bhagavatam anywhere that particularly say that word?
The word Garbhodakshaya Vishnu.
Garbhodakashai, Kshirodakashai, and Karanodakashai. Is there any
Bhagavatam verse, the word doesn't come, but the three Vishnus are described. First canto, third chapter. In the beginning, Purushavataras are described.
Okay. But how these words got coined, Karanodakashai,
Garbhodakshaya. See, because he literally can see where the exact word is there in the shlokas, we can check it.
It is there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Garbha Udaka Shayi Vishnu. Shayi comes from the verb Shing Shete, one who is sleeping. Sleeping in what? Udaka is the water. One is the Garbhodaka. Garbhodaka Shayi, one who is sleeping in the body of Garbhodaka Sagar. Kshirodaka Shayi, one is sleeping in the milk ocean. Karanodaka Shayi, Karana Udaka Shayi.
Causal ocean.
Causal ocean. One who is sleeping in the Karana Udaka Shayi.
So based on his attributes, that names must have come, I think.
Yes. Yes.
Not necessarily need to be mentioned in the Bhagavatam per se.
Whether there is these words, whether they are exactly mentioned in shlokas, let us see whether it comes, these references.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. If you see in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, when it about the position of Nityananda Prabhu, to describe the position of Nityananda Prabhu, Kaviraj Goswami, I think, composes 3-4 shlokas. So there he uses the term Garbhodishayi, Payobdishayi. I'll show you the shloka. Adi Leela. Sankarshana Karana Toyashayi. Toya also means water. Karanodakashayi ya Karanatoyashayi. Garbodashayi. Payobdishayi. That is same as Kshirodakshayi. Sheshascha Yasyamsha Kalasa Nindya Nitya Nandakya Rama Sharanam Amastu. So here uses the word Karana Toyashayi, Garbodashayi, Payobdishayi. And because he will also use here what word he has used. See, here he has used the word Mayatite Vyapi Vaikunta Loke Karanam Bodhi Madhye. Karana Ambodhi Madhye. Shete Sakshat Karanam Bodhi Madhye. Garbodashayi, he has used the word Garbodashayi. Like that. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice.
They are from Kshirodakshayi Vishnu, Prabhuji.
Huh?
The avtaras, they are from
Kshirodakshayi
Kshirodakshayi
Vishnu,
Vishnu,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. We'll stop here. Tuesday we'll discuss. Continue.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Now, Prabhuji, I am remembering that verse Prati Shloke Prati Arthe Akshare Nana Artha Kaya. We have so many, our Shri Goswamis have given such a thing that we can go on into that deep and deep. Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.